It's back. The Texas Instruments professional computer has been reassembled, but does it work? Hi gang, how the heck are you doing? John Lotshaw, Crackpot Computing here, and well, here it is. Reassembled, back in one piece, the Texas Instruments professional computer. I got this computer shortly before Christmas 2020, and we took an initial look at it, and I had it torn down and got it put back together. There were a couple of issues with it at that time. Hard drive didn't work, and the floppy drive didn't work. Well, those issues have been addressed. They've been looked at. First off, the floppy drive. It was just seized up. It needed a little lubrication, a little cleaning, and it works. I was really surprised at that. I want to thank Raymond Jett, who did a little video for me with my friend Tom Revor, who brought this computer over from Computer Reset for me. That video was very helpful in getting and learning, what I needed to do to clean it and lubricate it. So thanks a lot. That really was a big, big help. Unfortunately, there wasn't much that could be done for the hard drive. It spins up and it makes some noises that I think if you were to translate them into English would be, help me, put me out of my misery. It doesn't sound good. I think that drive had a hard crash. If that's the case, there's nothing for it, unfortunately. But the hard drive controller does operate it, and the drive tries to seek, it tries to work. So the controller is still good. It's just that the mechanicals of the drive are kind of bad. Also, there's a slight issue with the keyboard, which I'll discuss later. One of the keys isn't working, and unfortunately it's kind of a, well, you'll see. Anyway, the computer is in excellent condition, and it's fully loaded. I mean, this thing is maxed out to the greatest extent that this computer could be maxed out. So let's fire it up and take a look at the Texas Instruments professional computer. Let's power it on. First, I'm going to take the put a floppy in here. The floppy that we're going to start off with is this disk. It's a Diagnostics disk, and you see it's attempting to boot the hard drive, but that's going to fail here in a second. That's perfectly normal. Now it's running the bootloader, and it wasn't doing that earlier. Okay, let's try rebooting. Hit escape to dump out of that. There we go. The escape key was stuck. All right, so now it's going to run the Diagnostics. The keyboard has got a few issues, which I'll discuss in a moment. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's try this again. Without it's getting stuck. Display the configuration. All right, there we go. It's testing the 8087 Mathco processor, which this computer does have. Again, it's running the RAM refresh test. The RAM's all good. This machine has 512K of RAM, which was the maximum this computer could handle. Now it's testing the ROMs. And testing the RAM. This is going to take a little while, so we're going to speed this up. All right, so now it's testing the CRT, and the flashing is normal. And here's the text of the attributes. As you can see, it's able to do 8 colors. It can do underlined text, which was something that the IBM PC's color graphics array couldn't do. And you see the full character set up here. And you see it's identical to the IBM PCs. So. Now we're going to run the keyboard test, and here's where we've got a little bit of a problem. If I press the keys, you can see it'll flash. It's noting that the caps lock is down here. So we go through, and some of them stick. I mean, that's physically sticking. Take a look at that in a moment. But here's where we run into a problem, is right here, A, S, 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 S. The S key is dead. All of the others around it are active, but this one, it's dead. The problem appears to be right here. This is the S key, and the key switches are ITW magnetic valve switches, which kind of act like a transformer of a sort, and that ferrite bead is an important part of the induction to complete the circuit when you press the key. Apparently, because that ferrite bead is split in two, it's not working. So I've got to either replace the ferrite bead or replace the switch. But we'll save that for another show. Other than that, all of the other keys are functional. So, now this screen shows some of the options that were available for the machine later on. There was a speech board which was not only speech synthesis, but also speech recognition. There was also an Ethernet card made by 3Com. The 3270 coax interface was for talking directly to IBM mainframes. We've got the one floppy drive, and as you can see, it's a 40-track, double-sided, double-density drive. The Winchester controller. Winchester was an old word for hard drive. There is a graphics card with 3 graphics planes, which gives the 8 colors. The 8087 numeric coprocessor is in place, and it has the TI Winchester ROM, which enables it to boot from the hard drive. And there are 512K of RAM installed on this system. This computer is maxed out. It is really a top-of-the-line example of this computer. So, let's take a look at some of the software that I have available for the TI Professional. I'm going to put in a DOS boot disk and reboot. There we go. And we'll hit escape to force it to boot from the floppy. As you can see, this is MS-DOS. Oh, got a stuck escape key. That is going to be a running theme for this show, I'm afraid. As you can see, this is MS-DOS 2.11, which was the first version of MS-DOS to support directories, subdirectories. This was unfortunately as far as it went for the TI Professional computer. It never got an upgrade to version 3.0. Let's see, is this the one that has, I'm going to put in another disk that I noticed that is a boot disk, and we're going to do a directory on it. And okay, this is pretty much standard MS-DOS. There was another one, I think it's this one down here. Yes, this is it, I think. Yes. This was a text editor that Texas Instruments had that was used for editing text and for development. I remember my father using this. See if we can get it to... There we go. I remember my dad using this. So you can see it is it's a text editor. What more can you say about it? So we hit escape, and let's see, and let's just quit. I want to abort. No, let's see, abort. Yeah. And then let's just escape back to DOS. Don't worry, we've got more interesting programs coming up. Again, I don't have any way to really run these, but I'm just showing some of these, just the fact that I have them. And when we get a replacement for the hard drive, this will get a lot more interesting, because we'll actually be able to use some of this. This is Microsoft Fortran. Believe it or not, Microsoft Fortran. I have no idea how to use it, but we will figure out how to do that. Trying to load the compiler. And yeah, there we go. It's asking for a source file. Oh, hey, we can do one. Demo.for. Okay, it's not going to do anything because the disk is write protected. So we'll abort. But that'll be something that we'll play with eventually. Similarly, we have oh, I can't do CLS. The S key doesn't work. All right. We have a Pascal program. We have a Pascal compiler, and I'm not going to try it because this is also write protected. But we'll be playing with Pascal. Some disks are just, well, they just didn't survive. Okay, this was a program called PFM, Professional File Manager, and it was as I said, as the name says, a file management system. And again, this is another program I remember my dad having and using. So very, very nice. And here is, oh, and we can't run it because we need the S key, but Microsoft Assembler. And here's one that I'm particularly interested in, can't wait to get the S key working to see. As you can see, WS is Wormstar. Now, here's a really neat one. I'll actually be able to run this application. Yeah, there it is. This is Lotus 123. Lotus 123 was one of the first integrated programs because it provided a spreadsheet database and graphing capabilities, although the database capabilities were questionable at best. I don't remember anybody ever actually using the database. But this was the killer app for the PC. Just as VisiCalc had been the big killer app for the Apple II and got it into a lot of businesses, Lotus 123 was the killer app that took over for VisiCalc and was the impetus for a lot of companies buying PCs and MS-DOS computers. The amazing thing about this particular version is Lotus 123 was very fast and very responsive, and that was because it was written in assembly language. It was written specifically for the computer that it ran on, usually the IBM PC. So in order for it to run on the TI, which had a different BIOS and different system calls, they had to write Lotus 123 from scratch. The menus, you access them by pressing the slash key, and as you can see, there's a lot of, here's a menu, kind of like the top row of a drop-down menu with options telling you what's in there after in each one of these menus. Let's see if there's any spreadsheets that we can actually load on here. Well, then again, it's been a while since I've used this. Oh, come on. Ah, here we go. Display the names of 123 files on disk. No files of specified type on disk. Well, that's because it's the boot disk, and it's only 360K. So let's go ahead and just quit. And yes, we do want to end the 123 session. So that concludes our look at the Texas Instruments Professional Computer for now. There's some issues that have to be addressed, but they'll have to be taken care of later. But I have to say, I am really, really pleased with the level to which we've been able to get this computer back up and running. The fact that the floppy drive boots, reads MS-DOS, and loads applications and runs them is amazing, especially after all this time and as long as it's been sitting in the warehouse over at Computer Reset. I'm really pleased that this has come back to life. This is a piece of my personal history and a connection to my father. Running this software, running this computer really has brought back a lot of really great memories. And hopefully, we're going to create some new ones with this. If you like this video, please click the like button. Click all the buttons, except for that dislike one. That's a bad button. Don't touch that. But click all the other buttons. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell, and you'll get notified when Crackpot Computing uploads new content. And tell your friends, please. We've got a lot more stuff coming up and a lot more really cool computers we're going to be working with and trying to get going, plus a new series on retro coding. So you're going to want to stick around for that and be subscribed because you don't want to miss any of that. So until next time, John Lotshaw, Crackpot Computing, thanks a lot.